Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about something that may be super self-explaining for me nowadays. However, for the most part of my life, especially in my teenage years or in my 20s, I actually struggled with this, and that is how to look put together. For me, it really was a process of finding myself, finding out what just works for me in terms of, fashion cuts, fitting clothing, beauty stuff, how to do my hair, or color coordinating. Since I was someone who loved to play with makeup, with styling, with clothing, I was also more of a, alternative girl most of my youth. So I really loved all these things and I loved to play around, but it also was super overwhelming. And most of the time I ended up looking like a hot mess. But along the way, I learned a couple of tricks and habits that today I would like to share with you that are super easy to introduce into your daily routines and that will make a huge impact and the biggest difference on your overall appearance without having to spend tons of money, I swear. So today we are talking less about investing into, external items like fashion and all that kinds of stuff, but more about investing in yourself in order to look great all the time, or as often as possible. And as much as this may sound like a very vain topic to begin with, which I kind of get, as I was writing my script down, I felt quite vain at a couple of points. But at the end of the day, it is always not so much about fashion rules or having to fit in society or whatever to be accepted. It is more about, as I said before, finding yourself, defining what's best for you, what fits you, what flatters you, so that you can find out what makes you, in your appearance, the best version of yourself. And that ultimately will leave you not just looking better, but also feeling more comfortable, feeling more confident, and content with yourself. So before we get started, I would like to say hello and welcome to all of my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me and my little tiny channel here. And for everyone who's new to my channel, if you like my content and if you want to see this face again, please make sure to subscribe, and also feel free to leave me feedback on my videos if you have any suggestions, any constructive feedback, any ideas, what I could do next. Please let me know in the comments down below. I love to hear from you guys. So let's dive into the topic. So let's start with a couple of beauty basics. So nails are actually a huge factor in looking put together. If your nail polish is chipped, if your gels are grown out halfway through, or if your nails are just generally neglected, you can wear whatever you want. You will not look put together ultimately. And I know what I'm talking about, and I know how annoying it sometimes can get when it comes to, maintaining your nails. I have super thin nails, they split all the time, they break all the time. Nail polish doesn't really hold well on them. And I tried gel nails, I tried shellac, I tried all those different things that you can basically try out doing to your nails. Nothing of all of these things ever worked for me. So what I found out, and what I ultimately have to admit for me is the chicest way to make your nails look, is to keep them quite short, keep them fresh, keep them clean, and maybe adding some neutral nail polish shades to it. And since of course I like to, give my nails a little bit more of a colorful manicure from time to time, I always try to be a little bit more strategic. So when I know that I have a very stressful week laying before me, when I already know that I will not have the time to freshen up my manicure during the week, I will not go for a super bright color. I will just keep them either without nail polish or really just with a neutral shade that you don't really see when anything is chipping or something. If I know that I'm going on holidays, or if the weekend is starting out where I know I will have a lot more time to, look after my nails, I will go ahead and, try out a cooler color. So at least this is what I have done for the past years, and nowadays I even get complimented on my nails and on my hands in general, because as soon as your overall appearance is just put together and taken care of, it doesn't really matter if you have super long, stylish nails. It's just all about the overall look of it. Also, do not forget your feet. Especially now in summer, I cringe so hard and so often over people that are totally spot on top, but when you look down on their feet, they have the worst neglected feet and toenails ever. With that, you are basically sabotaging your look. So if you are spending 30 minutes on hair and makeup, you should never forget spending just as much time and giving your feet just as much attention and love as you do give to your hair and to your face. I do both my mani and my pedi myself. I very rarely go to like mani pedi salons because most of the time they struggle with like hygiene, and the way they do my nails is never really working for me. So I just learned to do those things myself, and this way I can also be super flexible and always make sure that, you know, my nails on both ends of my body look great. Point number 2 is healthy looking skin. So if you already have not very complicated skin, why throw on a shit ton of makeup on it? Of course, this is something that is very, very, you know, up to individual taste. However, fresh, healthy skin will always look the best when you actually put less on it. If you have more imperfections, oily skin, problematic skin, cover them up with a great makeup, but make sure that your overall look still is a little bit more natural and still seems more natural, just healthy and glowing. And besides that, I really had my fair share of, you know, problematic skin. Having frequent facials and appointments at, you know, dermatologists or cosmeticians really makes the biggest difference, and is the first thing that you should invest to instead of, you know, buying a expensive makeup or something like an expensive foundation. Because these frequent appointments will really soothe your skin. They will help you with any problems, you know, imperfections and stuff like that, so that you will in the end achieve having actually more healthy skin that needs less makeup. I would always keep it more natural, because this will always look more sophisticated, more modern than looking like a American beauty guru. Point number 3 is hair. And before we even get complicated with like hairstyling and stuff, having clean, fresh, nicely groomed hair is super important and is basically 90% of anything that will add on to it, like styling or something like that. So before we are even thinking of grabbing that hair straightener, we always want to make sure that our hair is actually clean, that it looks fresh, and that it is, you know, well and freshly cut and groomed. And then we can start with the styling process. So I naturally have very thin and fine hair, and I really struggle until this day to make it look nice. For example, in videos like this. So what worked for me was that with time I decided to go for a very simple haircut. Also, I most of the time just wear it like this on the day that I washed it and they are like the freshest. I would just like give them a straight blowout by myself, and on the following days I will transition from wearing them straight like this to just putting them back in a very sleek ponytail. Now that they are quite short, I will wear them in a lower ponytail, and this way I will make sure that they always look, you know, quite sleek, but they are also still low maintenance, because I am actually quite the pragmatic, long maintenance person when it comes to my hair. Like, I can't be bothered doing my hair for like, I don't know, half an hour every day. Point number 4 is iron your clothing. This is something that I have learned quite late. I was always super lazy about, you know, taking care of my clothing, but in the past years, as I started to buy more high quality and more expensive items, I also started to obviously take better care of them. And one of the easiest things that you can do to make your clothing look fresh, new, amazing, and more expensive is ironing. So these days I always iron pretty much everything from t-shirts to jeans, everything. And all the other things that I'm not super comfortable ironing myself, I will just bring to the dry cleaners. Because you can wear Gucci from head to toe. If your clothes are like super wrinkly and even dirty or something, they will look cheap, they will never look amazing, and they will always look a mess, no matter how expensive your outfit was. And it doesn't take like a fancy ironing station or anything like that. I have a cheap ass super old ironing station by myself here at home, and they still work just fine, and I am able to make my clothes look super good for a super long time. Tip number 5 is a monochrome or neutral color palette. So as I said at the beginning of the video, at some point I quite radically switched to only buying and wearing black items or like neutral colors. Because my wardrobe was just such a colorful mess, it totally overwhelmed me and I was never able to put together a decent color coordinated outfit. Having a dominantly black or neutral colored wardrobe will help you so much, not just, time-wise when it comes to putting together your daily outfits, but it also will tremendously improve your overall appearance, especially if you're someone who is, overwhelmed with styling in general, or who may not feel the most, comfortable or competent in color coordinating or styling in general. I have done this for the past years really, and now that I have my neutral colored and black colored staples in my wardrobe that I know I can always, throw on and look great, I am starting to very cautiously introduce a little bit of color accents back to my wardrobe just to make it more interesting and playful again, without, of course, getting out of control. Point number 6 is well-fitting clothes. There is nothing like a Mariah Carey being sewn into her outfits, right? Choosing the right fit and size for your body is extremely important if you want to look your best and, put together. If a blazer is too tight or too big or just not the right cut for you, it will wrinkle up, it will be either too tight or too loose in, the wrong spots. And even if that blazer was super expensive, let's say a Balmain blazer, it will not make you look good. It will just not. So do some research, try on different shapes and different cuts that might fit your body type. There are also brilliant videos here on YouTube for, styling tips for different body types. But also when you try on items in the store, always go for 2 different sizes. Because nowadays every brand has their own different measurements and stuff like that. So you always have to individually find out what actually suits you. A very general indicator for something that fits you well would be that you just feel comfortable in it. And that brings me to my last point: own your outfits. It is more important to feel like yourself, to wear something that fits you and that is flattering to your body type, than to wear a certain trend just for the sake of it. Because at the end of the day, you have to stay true to yourself, and that also concerns your body and how you look in clothes. You can spend a lot of money on trendy items, but if they don't fit you, if they don't suit you, if they don't do anything for you, you will not end up looking nice and you will also not end up feeling well. The end goal always should be that you have to feel your best, so that in the end you will look your best. And the one thing does not work without the other. So guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful, inspiring. Please let me know what you think about it in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!